Hello and welcome. You're watching eMindRocks. I'm Chaiti Narula, and today we're going to be discussing a topic which really concerns every individual across cutting all age groups as well. It is mental wellness. Mental wellness is important for each one of us here today. I'm very happy to be joined today by Sonakshi Sinha. She needs no introduction. And of course, Ratnaboli Ray as well. She's a mental health activist as well. Thank you so much. Appreciate both of you for taking the time out and joining us.
Thank you so much, Chaiti. My pleasure actually being here. It's something that I've been wanting to speak about for a while, and it's a very, very important topic today. So very happy to be here.
Absolutely. So, Sonakshi, let's begin with you. Staying away from negativity, and that is the key to sanity. And how is it, Sonakshi, that you would like to guide everyone watching this show today? How to stay happy, how to stay away from all this negativity that surrounds us?
I think I'm nobody to guide, but I think I can speak from personal experience. For someone who's been on social media for so long, I've kind of seen it grow, into this monster that it's become today. And honestly, I've always been a very positive person. But you never know how something can affect you in the smallest of ways. You wake up in the morning, you open your handle and you read a negative comment and probably just shut it at that point of time. But it later comes out like you've snapped at someone at work or somebody at home. So you never really know how these things affect you. And I think that's a very negative aspect to have in your life, So I feel for me, the best way to stay away from it is to not be on it, stay away from it consciously and completely. And honestly, like since I've left Twitter, I've been happier. And it's really surprising and shocking that how these things can bog you down without you even realizing it. So I think it's the best thing to do. Just kind of keep yourself away from negativity. Yeah.
So, Sonakshi, what do you do to be mentally happy? For physical fitness, everyone does yoga, Zumba, aerobics. There's so much of physical training that we see. But for mental training, not much is being done by individuals across the board. What do you do? Let us know your regime as to how you keep yourself mentally fit.
I think the best thing to do, like you said, how we have exercise and fitness, for our bodies, and we have doctors to go to for our body. I think it's very important to treat your mind as well. As recently as when lockdown happened, that's when I discovered meditation and how it just helps to kind of center you and balance you and keep you in the moment. Brings you back from wherever your mind is wandered. I think it's like magic, and something that I've always wanted to do. Like these 10 years I've worked continuously non-stop, without having to think of these, without getting the chance to think of these things. And now, because we have all this free time, it's something that I got into. I was very averse to it, but then I kind of realized the importance of it. Now when you're with yourself after so long, after so many years, I've had so much time to myself, to be at home, to be surrounded by very few people, just my family. And otherwise it's always been people at work, and your mind is always somewhere else. So for the first time, I kind of realized the importance of just being one with yourself and being able to handle that. Suddenly you're all alone by yourself. So I think it's very, very important to meditate for the mind. Yeah. And it could be something as simple as just, deep breathing, just focusing on your
meditation,
breath.
Of course, no.
Yeah.
Let me also bring in Ratnaboli. Ratnaboli, today, it's such a taboo to talk about mental illness. When somebody is feeling ill, when somebody is not feeling well, going to doctor is very normal. But when somebody is not mentally feeling okay, why is it that there's so much of reluctance in going to a psychiatrist or a mental health care practitioner for that matter?
Well, I think things have changed a lot over the years, because I think help-seeking behavior has changed amongst general people. The point is what you said earlier in your question, that as long as we frame the mental health discourse within the paradigm of illness, people's health-seeking behavior will be impacted. But if we popularize the discourse of well-being, of wellness, the importance of it, I think people are going to go to the chambers, seek out professional help. Because what mental illness does is pathologize smallest of small behavior, and that's where the problem is. So things have changed over the years. Yet there is reluctance because there's a lot of shame associated with it. It is also perceived as weakness, especially in young people. Sonakshi may be able to say that much better, but I feel that people do perceive it as a weakness of your character. And therefore, there's a lot of bullying, lot of shaming, lot of name calling. And at the end of the day, you end up alone. So people are hesitant, but I think discourse is moving. We are not losing hope because we are still seeing a lot of people coming to us, talking about their distress. 2 points to remember is one, we should not pathologize behavior. The other is that we have to move the discourse of mental illness to mental well-being or wellness. That's exactly what we are talking about. And mind rocks indeed.
Right, Lord. Let me also take this straight across to Sonakshi. You're such an influential person, and youth today should listen to you on this as well. A lot of reluctance we've noticed, and just like the way Ratnaboli was also mentioning, the minute you go and are seen in the psychiatrist's office or a counselor's office, there's a lot of shaming that is going on. There's stigma attached to it. There's a lot of muttering under the breath that goes on when this happens. I mean, we are trying to normalize this conversation, but what is your sense? What would you like to tell them?
I think, yes, because there are so many misconceptions and we've not been able to normalize it as it should be, people are a bit hesitant and reluctant, but it's as simple as, like how you send your car for servicing. How you go for a regular checkup to your doctor to fix your body. It's exactly the same thing. It's as simple and normal as that. And it doesn't have to be someone who's, visibly distressed. It could be someone who looks absolutely happy on the outside, but is facing something within themselves. And sometimes it's more important to speak to somebody who's neutral, who has no judgments towards you. For instance, a friend or a family member might not understand exactly what it is you're going through from an outsider's perspective. So it's very important to speak to someone who will kind of look at it, very objectively and help you to understand why you're going through what you're going, or why you're behaving a certain way that you're behaving. And it's really as simple as that. There's nothing wrong with it.
Does a support system which is really strong and stands by you, and talking to that support system when the time comes, really help? What is your sense of how having to establish these kind of connections around you, Sonakshi? Because you're somebody who is in an absolutely cutthroat environment, with working in Bollywood as well. How do you maintain your sanity through it all?
I think, yes, it's very, very important to have a good support system around you, good friends, good family that supports you, good co-workers. Having a good equation with everyone really helps, and for me, I've always kept my circle very small. I don't like to add people into my circle who won't add anything to my life or will take away from it. So for me, I've managed to keep my life around me very positive by just doing that, guarding my circle very, very closely. And it's really up to you, who you let in, what you let in, the thoughts that you let in. So yeah, I think overall it's very important to have a good support system, but sometimes it's also helpful when you speak to someone who's not in your circle. So yeah, I think therapy is something that a lot of people from my generation and the millennials also have been turning to, and it's really helped. So many friends of mine have been seeking therapy and going to therapists and speaking to them, and they come back with such an understanding of their behavior and what they're thinking, and how they just have tools to go through life once they speak to someone. So
perspective
yeah,
change.
I think it's important to have a good support system, and also to speak to someone if you're feeling even the slightest bit distressed.
Ratnaboli, I'm going to come to you. Certain issues that youth today are witnessing as well. There is a growing sense of loneliness. I mean, you may have 5,000 friends on Facebook. You may have a lot of friends on Twitter, Instagram, what have you, thousands of followers as well. But are you really happy? They are feeling lonely from within. What are your tips to these kids and young adults, how to battle loneliness as well?
I will just come to your question. Just for a moment, I just want to step back and just respond to the question of stigma. I think stigma will always be there. Stigma will be there if you're dark skinned, stigma will be there if you're fat, stigma will be there if you are, low vision, etc. But what we should be bothered is how we can check discrimination, be it in the workplace, be it at friends, be it in the larger realm of life. So it is discrimination that we should be concerned with. Secondly, when we talk about loneliness, I think that we need to focus within ourselves, because I think we have I think we have looked outwards for a long time now for validation. You are good looking, you are fantastic, you cook so well, you're such a great friend, and we have fooled ourselves with those external validations. But I think this pandemic, this social pandemic, has given us an opportunity to introspect, to pause and look inwards for happiness. Because with loneliness, I mean, even with a large group of people, you can still feel lonely. So that's a feeling. So you have to acknowledge that feeling first before we move on to the next step as to how we address that loneliness. Half the time, we are not acknowledging the
And
thoughts.
picking a leaf from what you just spoken about, this social conformity bit as well, that we're seeking validation externally as well. Sonakshi, social media has done that to our lives. So with all these perfect pictures that you end up seeing on Instagram, most of them are even filtered. Nobody really wakes up in the morning looking so perfect. Somewhere it is causing a lot of anxiety. It is causing a lot of competitiveness. I mean, it's just, what do you have to say about that? You are somebody who's so pretty, who's so amazing. You're a well-known, recognized face, and coming from you, youth really needs to hear this.
Yeah, I think the first thing I'd like to say is just don't believe everything that you see on social media. A lot of it is made up. A lot of it is done only for the purpose of social media, being there for likes, for follows. So a lot of it really ends up being very, very fake. And I think the thing that you can do to make yourself most unhappy is start comparing your life to what you see online. Because and once I think people realize that, they'll kind of understand that this is not how it should be. This is not how I should be feeling. And taking from what Miss Ray said, that you could be surrounded by people but still feel lonely. And this pandemic, because of this pandemic, like I said, like even for me, I was always surrounded by people that I'm working with, constantly at work, so many people around me. And when the lockdown happened, I really didn't know what to do with myself. And that's when I turn to meditation and realize that it's so important to be present where you are with your thoughts, with yourself, be one with yourself. And I think everybody needs to kind of find a way to do that, because once you are okay with being by yourself, you'll be really, really happy. You won't need anyone else.
If you're really okay being alone in your own company and discovering yourself as well, know yourself very well, you probably will be better in the company of somebody else as well. Ratnaboli, this is the problem that most people who are single looking to get married also end up facing, and there is so much anxiety around that part as to when will I get married, when will I have a boyfriend, why am I so alone? What do you have to tell these people? Stop stressing about this, right? They need to learn how to be with themselves.
I think we really have to look at our negative feelings as well, because negative feelings give you the strength to survive in this world. And I think a lot of stress and anxiety is constructed. I mean, it's socially constructed. Why is it that a woman has to get married? Why is it even men will have to get married? Why can you not live life on your own terms? So I think how you give in to social construct, how you deconstruct it, also depends on your temperament and on your personality. But I would say that if you're feeling extremely stressed, first thing would be to look at your thoughts, look at your feelings, and start journaling them, because journaling is a sure shot way to bring a closure to those negative feelings. And the other thing is that you have to convince yourself that marriage is not the be end and end all of our lives. And I know of a fantastic movement called the Ekal Woman movement, and there are lots of single people who are really happy, who have pets, who have a fantastic outgoing life, and they are really enjoying themselves. And then I wonder, why did I have to get married at the age of 24?
But
So
Sonakshi,
as
you are
Sonakshi
single,
was
aren't you? Happier
saying-
than most married people that you see around as well. Sonakshi will be able to say
Well,
this as well.
I am single, but I'm feeling funny to admit this now for this entire conversation, but I've always wanted to be married. So that's one thing. But right now, it's something that I'm willing to wait for, because, I've built a career.
That's actually all of us. That's actually all of us.
Yeah.
The,
So it's okay. I mean, I'll
the
wait
thing
for the
here
right
is that
person.
even though when you are single, you need to really be calm.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Go
for
ahead.
me, like I'm proud that I've been able to build myself a career. I'm very happy with the work that I'm doing, and honestly, I've reached a point where I'm okay to wait for the right person to come along. And when that happens, I'll be very, very happy. But until then, I am also happy.
No, but having that larger purpose of your existence, and Sonakshi, your work is something that you will always hold on to, regardless of anything that happens. And many people somewhere get lost by leaving their work, only focusing too much on one relationship, somewhere putting the man on the pedestal as well, and somewhere all the kind of, unhappiness that starts to seep in as well. If you could throw some light on that part as well, as to how a balancing act is also important for the mind, having a purpose is also very important to keep your mind calm and happy.
I think it starts with you. Everything begins with you. Like they say, charity starts at home. You have to be content with yourself. You have to be happy as you are. You have to be happy with what you're doing. And that is the only way I think you can even begin to find happiness outside. It all starts from within. So whether it's a relationship, whether it's work, whether it's a marriage, whether it is a friendship, you always have to be able to love yourself before you can spread that, share that love with someone else. So I think it's very important to be content with yourself.
And Ratnaboli, for somebody who is championing the cause of mental health as well, what are your closing thoughts on what the youth needs to hear today when it comes to their mental well-being?
I love young people. I think they energize us and they energize the nation. So it's very, very important to have young people right on top of their mental health. But I really want to bring in one issue here that we really have to be cautious about how amazing this is, and about the whole notion of toxic positivity, because the world we are living in, unprecedented times we are living in. So everything cannot be happy, everything cannot be marvelous, and we have to acknowledge that. So young people will have to acknowledge that not everything is going to be really positive, and they have to have the resilience and the agility to adapt to changing emotions and changing mental landscape. And once they are able to do that by being mindful of the moment, Sonakshi articulated it in a different language. I'm saying it from a typically a mental health language, that we have to be mindful. And if young people are mindful and present in the moment, I think they've just done it.
And Sonakshi, embracing change and accepting change is also a large part of it, right? Because when we were hit with the pandemic, none of us knew what we were getting into. Months of lockdown nobody expected this, nobody saw it coming, but the ones who adapted well were happier people.
Absolutely. And I think with it came a lot of, frustration, a lot of negativity, as we've seen, even on social media. People have just started turning very bitter. I think when you start watching yourself for these emotions, understand them, accept them, but try and overcome them. I think it's very important to, uh, strive for positivity, especially at a time like this, where we're so socially cut off with people that we've been used to meeting and who we've had around us for so long. So it's very, very important to stay positive at a time like this. Like Miss Ray said, that it won't happen every day. There will be good days, there will be bad days, but it's at the end of the day, you have to be strong enough to overcome even that, and make sure you tell yourself that it's okay, tomorrow is another day, I'll try and do better. And yeah, just stay positive. I think it's very important to have a positive mindset at a time like this.
Sonakshi, since you mentioned bad days as well, one last question I'd like to ask you is, on your bad day, what do you do? How do you cope?
On my bad days, I try and sleep it off sometimes. Probably wake up in a better mood, or like if I yeah, I think that's the best thing I can do. At least I just try and sleep it off and then try and wake up with in a better mood. But sometimes that doesn't happen, and then you know what, you just
having a nice long shower or being in the tub helps.
Yeah, do something that you really like. Like for me, painting really kind of takes me away, brings me back to the moment. It's just me and the canvas at that point of time, and there's just
vent it out.
And yeah, just I went it out on the canvas. So it's important to even find something that you like to do, indulge in that. I've been dancing a lot, so that's like a really good release of energy. It makes me feel really happy, while I'm doing it and even after. So yeah, it's important to find something that you like to do and try and divert your energy there. It's okay not to be okay.
Okay not to be okay. And also, this whole pressure of being successful, being productive, the way even, we development professionals are going on doing webinars, I just feel exhausted. And why do we have to do it? Why can we not just sleep it off, as Sonakshi said, or just read a book, or just drink endless cups of chai and just relax? I mean,
whatever works for you. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So it's okay not to be okay, and find your purpose. Make sure you have a good vent. Make sure, just like the way you indulge in physical exercise, you are doing something to take care of your mind as well. At the end of the day, mind and body both go hand in hand. Thank you very, very much, Sonakshi, for those useful tips and telling us how you deal with your bad days as well. And Ratnaboli, of course, for those fantastic tips to all the youth as well. Thank you so much.
Thank
you so much. Lovely talking to you both.
Today we are going to be discussing mental health and mental well-being with somebody who does not need any introduction whatsoever. We're in conversation with Randeep Huda today, and I'm going to go straight across to him to ask him this first question. Randeep, do you think mental wellness in India is one of the hugely ignored topics at the moment?
Mental health is an issue which we have culturally looked down upon or brushed under the carpet. And also it is not so prevalent as it is in the West because of our close-knit family structures and our close-knit neighborhood communities. So it is something which is coming into focus, as it is coming into focus of the people with the fragmented families and things. There are people who are depressed, but nobody knows what's wrong with them, and they themselves don't know, and it leads to all kinds of misunderstandings. And it is something which I'm glad we're having a conversation about.
Absolutely. And I know, Randeep, that you're so passionate about horses, and they also say that the outside of the horse is very good for the inside of the man. Does it really de-stress you to be around these creatures?
Oh, absolutely. I think actually it is the truth, because the horse has a heart energy field 6 times the ratio size of any mammal. A lot of people who are facing even cerebral palsy issues get better and get their motor skills improve when they are in and on a horse. A horse exudes a sense of a very positive energy field, where whenever you touch a horse or you're around a horse, it is very good for you mentally, spiritually, emotionally. So definitely that has been a big booster in my life. I've got 5 of them, so I'm overly charged.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I go racing or I go riding when I'm feeling a little down, and the world seems to be a better place. And now, Randeep, you're one of the few voices from the film industry that actively talks about conserving the environment. You're a UN Environment Program's ambassador as well for the aquatic migratory species. Is venturing into the wild your healing stone as well, apart from, of course, horses that you just spoke about?
I've always been a nature lover all my life, and I think if there is a fight that we need to fight, it is not political, it is not religious, it is for nature, it is for everybody. We should unite in that voice. I've always felt passionate about it, and I have had the good fortune of reading up and meeting and watching people who do something about it, who are just, I mean, it's very easy to like, tweet, retweet, and pour out your heart on social media. But I've always felt that, when you do ground action, that's what leads to actual change, even if it is just you. And that also makes you feel very good, since we're talking about mental health. Contributing to something which is larger than yourself always makes you feel better, whether it is going washing dishes or serving langar in a gurdwara, or cleaning up your house or your community, or doing something for the larger good of humanity or your planet. It gives you an immense sense of satisfaction, and it doesn't cost much. In
That,
fact, it doesn't cost anything. So
that's
that's a good way of overcoming any mental blocks or depression that you might be having, is to do something for the larger good, which serves not just yourself, but something more. It gives you spiritual strength.
You just spoke about depression. It's a very strong word, and many people cannot differentiate between depression and sadness as well. And the psychiatrists and the mental health practitioners who we speak to say that there's a huge difference. But today, somewhere culturally, do you think in India there's a problem? Because when somebody goes through feelings of depression, they speak to their parents, and the parents usually say, "Koi baat nahi beta, theek ho jaoge, think positive, it's all in your mind." What do you have to say to these cliched responses that are coming in? Do we need to break away from these, and parents need to also realize that, listen, going to a mental health practitioner can really help your mind, and that could keep you physically fit as well?
I think parents might be right in a way. Sometimes you might just be on a chain of thought which is doing circles in your head and is not leading you anywhere. So it is always a good thing to get off your ass and divert your mind. And little things that the parents do encourage you to do, they are a good thing. I mean, for every little thing to rush to a doctor is also not a very good idea, but it does exist. And if you're feeling repetitive thoughts of gloom and sadness, and as if your life seems to be going nowhere, talk to some people, talk to your parents, and even if they say ki chal beta chal khada ho sab theek ho jayega, even that you should pay heed to. It is being talked about more, and I'm very glad that this conversation is happening. Except for some really extreme cases, by doing little things and by communicating with people around you, and seeking and doing things for their happiness for a change, can really help you out of the lower ebbs of the tide. And I think it is very necessary to at least talk about it. Whether you have to
But
go see a
Randeep,
doctor,
don't you
that
think
time will
that
tell, and each case is different. But do things which would make you happy. I mean, if you feel like you feel happy while drawing, go draw for a couple of hours, man. You'll feel better. If you feel like just watching a movie or eating some ice cream, go do it. Sometimes little things can help. If you want to spend time with somebody, go do it.
But Randeep, sometimes a lot of youth are today falling in the trap of clinical depression as well, and that is simply a chemical imbalance in their brain as well. Would you then recommend that they go see a mental health care practitioner? Cognitive behavioral therapy has been known to show such stellar results as well.
Yes. Now, chemical imbalance, when you talk about, it's a bit different. It is a physical state which then you have to see a doctor and probably take medication for it. But the point is that have you taken steps to uh, not isolate yourself, not be too much into yourself, gotten away from the gadgets, gotten away from social media, gotten away from digital things? Have you gone touched a plant? Have you gone watered a plant? Have you touched an animal? Have you done? Have you put your hands in dirt? Those things also one has to do to be in touch with the reality that you are a human being among so many other human beings, and everybody is going through a problem. uh, those steps have to be taken first before you decipher, oh, you're mentally ill. I think you should not be too quick to judge that, but you should be very careful and constantly keep in touch and communicating with somebody who is in that state, whether it is your friend, it could be your parent, it could be you. You have to interact with
Communication
things, with
needs to be
nature. I think
constant,
nature is
is
a
what
big
you're saying.
antidepressant.
Yes,
And if
yes.
still there is a persistent sense of depression or gloom, I don't know how exactly to define it. Please, by all means, go see a doctor. Please go see a doctor. It's no shame. It's like when you hurt your finger, you go see a doctor, or you hurt your elbow, you go see a doctor, maybe get a plaster or get a few stitches. It is the same thing. So there should be no taboo about it. But first, take other steps too. Sometimes it can be self inflicted, a lot of times it is self inflicted. So look outwards a little. I think that helps a lot. It's helped me over
It's a very
a long
interesting
period
thing
of
that you
time.
say, Randeep, that look outwards, because most people say look inwards, introspect, and your suggestion is that go ahead and look outwards, and that's good because that keeps the communication intact. And when you are communicating, you will never know who can come forth and help you out as well and put you in the right
When you look
direction.
inwards, it's called meditation. It is introspective, and you do it for a short period of time. You don't stay in that state. Real meditation, like I am not very good at meditating, but when I am writing, I forget everything else in the world. For me, meditation is getting involved in something, whether it's a thought process or an activity, which takes your mind off everything else and you concentrate on that. That is a very good relief. But you cannot be inside. I, as an actor, do a lot of work internally. I really try to change myself as a person, in terms of my thoughts, my language, my socioeconomic backgrounds. So I do spend a lot of time like that. But when I do that also, I'm also observing, I'm also interacting, I'm actually doing. So looking inwards is good, but staying inside is not good. Being outside, taking to other people, if you do anything for anybody else's benefit, like for example, you want to do something that makes your mother happy. For example, you just make your bed and clean your room, or you wash your hands before you eat your food, or finish your food, eat your vegetables, whatever. Even if you do that little thing and your mother gets a smile, that's a big antidepressant, man. That's a
Oh,
big
that
antidepressant.
is indeed.
Your
These are
loved
small
ones around
things.
you,
Yes, these
their
are small things
happiness is
that
the biggest
matter.
antidepressant.
Absolutely. Nandeep, you're in the public eye, being a public figure, being an actor. There would be a lot of negativity that you end up facing professionally in your personal life as well. So outside of course, horse riding that makes you very happy, looking at the environment that makes you very happy, do you have a regime that you end up following to keep your mental balance in check, to keep yourself mentally well, fit and healthy? Because we know you are physically fit as well, and largely both of them are interrelated.
Yeah, there is a sense of competition. There's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of negativity everywhere. The way I deal with it is that I keep myself in a state of learning. I'm always trying to learn something, whether it is photography or about my part or a new set skill, or improve my riding, or go outside and work for the environment. All these things come together and make you feel things. I deal with the ebbs of life in a very positive way, and I think what I've learned from it, and there should be no sense of competition. वो क्या कह रहा है, वो क्या बोलेगा, उसकी चिंता कम करो. You should be trying to being a better person, a better professional in whatever you do every day, and that will itself lead to a lot of benefits.
You said something very important कि इसकी चिंता कम करो, वो क्या कह रहा है, वो क्या बोल रहा है. That also means somewhere you have to build yourself emotionally to have that level of emotional intelligence as well. Do you feel that people are today in...
बहुत सिंपल है. अगर कोई तुम्हारे बिल पे कर रहा है ना, उसकी शायद सुन लो, मानो ना मानो. पर अगर जो तुम्हारे बिल नहीं पे कर रहा ना, तो ख्याल लगता है इसकी ऐसी तैसी कोई जरूरत नहीं।
That's that's a good way to look at it, Randy.
कोई नहीं है,
I don't care the attitude. Yeah, of course.
Opinions and armpits everybody has.
Correct.
They've got their own. Don't worry about that.
Correct.
हाँ, तुम्हारे माँ बाप जो तुम्हारा ख्याल रखते हैं, कोई तुम्हारा बिल पे कर रहा है, कोई तुम्हारा आके ख्याल रख रहा है, कोई तुम्हें जब तुम दुखी होते हो जब भी दे रहा है, उसकी सुन लो यार। अभी पब्लिक क्या बोलेगी, इंडस्ट्री क्या बोलेगी, ये क्या बोलेगा, क्या जरूरत है सुनने की यार। अपने घोड़े पे सवार रहो,
अपने घोड़े पे सवार रहो, right? Yes, you have to be riding your own pony then. You know, this is something I was talking to my colleague the other day as well. He was a little upset and I said, listen, aren't you emotionally intelligent? There have to be your inner circle that can impact you this much. Anybody outside of that inner circle does not need to impact you, and that's how you develop that level of emotional intelligence as well, isn't it, Randy?
Well, I have, as in public life and personal life, they can be different. Of course, you have to be sensitive to people around you and communicate with them, you know. But in public life, it's a different thing. I do not need any affirmation. My father's opinion matters to me a lot whenever he sees my performance, and that's great. Nasiruddin Shah is another person whose opinion matters, and I myself have an opinion about it. Now, I know myself what I have done. I could have done better, or I didn't do well, and all that. I don't need to hear it from somebody, and I definitely don't need to hear too much praise and get a big head about it. So it is really a communication with myself. I am trying to. This is my instrument that I have, and I'm trying to be better at it. And that is as simple as it goes. Once you're concentrating on that, once you're in a state of learning, in a happy state, don't wait. I have also done it for a lot of time, for years in my life. अगर ये हो जाएगा तो मैं खुश हो जाऊंगा, वो हो जाएगा तो मैं खुश हो जाऊंगा, ये मिल जाएगा तो खुश हो जाऊंगा। अरे नहीं यार, खुश तो अभी हो जाओ. It's very simple. It's a choice you make. I mean, don't put pressure on yourself. Right. If you just turn up, be happy, and be in a state of learning, no matter what you do, you will do it well and you will enjoy it. The moment you enjoy it.
Absolutely. And also, somewhere people also start taking themselves too seriously. I've noticed that, Randy.
Oh, I used to take myself very seriously. I don't do it anymore. It's the worst thing. You're your worst enemy when you take yourself too seriously. कौन है भाई तू? साइड में हो. क्या वैल्यू है तेरी? तेरे भी दो हाथ पैर हैं जैसे दूसरों के हैं. क्या इतना क्या?
Yeah, you've been very active in India's battle against COVID-19 as well, be it cleaning the beach, speaking up on providing relief as well. Is this constant service that you do a source of your happiness somewhere? Like you said, you know, you find those simple pleasures in like speaking to your parents and, you know, you do.
Definitely. I obviously... Let me be very frank and honest. I obviously do it for my own feeling that I get when I do it. Okay, that is the most important thing. I don't do it to show off to people. I don't do it to, you know, to change the world. I like doing it, first of all. And I believe that since I am a citizen and I have rights, I also have duties. Not just a citizen, but also a human being. So I feel that we are all a part of it. It's a whole one organism. It's a butterfly effect. If a butterfly flutters its wings in Japan, it's felt in Namibia. You know, so it's all connected. So if everybody did their bit, it will change. Not one person or a group of people can do it. I did my bit. I also thought it was somebody else's job to pick up the garbage, man. I pay my taxes. What the hell? It's the government's job. But we are the ones who are producing that garbage, and we are the ones who are being not prudent about buying, first of all, and then disposing it. So, and I've had the good fortune to work with Afroz Shah, who has had Warsaw Beach in my locality. I'm very lucky that it is the biggest beach cleanup that has been going on for years, and it is a world phenomenon, and a lot of people have been inspired and are doing it everywhere. So being a part of that journey, it makes my life a bit more significant than just pictures and movies and oohs and ahs, you know. So I find purpose in it, and I do it for my own good.
That's most important.
The environment. I hope it inspires some people, because you can do little things.
No, you very rightly put forth that point of having to find your purpose, because you're an actor, you do that very well. You have all these interests lined up, which also give you a sense of purpose. And this must be giving you a larger sense of purpose as well, to give back to society as well. And when people get, I'm a mental health advocate myself, but point is that when you have so much of a purpose that exists in you, that is when you stop thinking and bothering about what other people are thinking or saying, and it stops impacting you. And that is when you really
be busy. Be busy with your own growth and the happiness of people around you and your happiness, and do things for the larger good. I mean, I never thought of it like that. Now that I'm having a conversation with you, these are my thoughts. I mean, I never linked mental health and garbage. So what?
Randeep, I'm doing that. This is the impact I'm having on you. You're linking
mental health and garbage. We can think all kinds of garbage, and usually we get our knickers in a twist ourselves. So it is auto suggest to yourself
Yes, that's
different
true.
things.
That's true. Now, there's more talk now than ever before about how mental health and physical well-being are interconnected. And you are physically so fit, I know that. In fact, our sponsors even ended up doing a survey that showed that almost 40% of the respondents taken in the survey felt that the current healthcare system gives less importance to mental health than physical health. How are these two interrelated, in your opinion, from your own personal experience?
Okay. Where does your mind live?
In your body?
Or your soul? In your body.
That's true.
Right?
Yes.
So if you keep the home of your mind or your soul healthy, happy, fit, it will automatically affect your soul and your mind and your heart, whatever you might want to define it as. The human body is the best gadget, the best instrument we as human beings will ever own. It is not an iPhone. It's not these fancy computers. It is not that rocket. The best and the most amazing gadget that us human beings have is our body. And we can do so much of with it. We can bend it even more. We can grow more muscles. We can have more cardiovascular. We can do so many things. We can work for hours. And it is us that thinks and conjures up, like, turning a page in a script into this scenario where people watch it and get affected and similar things. So your body is the most important instrument you'll ever own. It is your duty to look after it, and that is your home for your body. Like this planet is a home for you as a person. Your body is also your home as a person, and you should look after it. I'm not saying that I don't have bad habits which are harmful for my body, but I do try and balance them. I mean, you got to live a little, but you got to keep balancing it. You got to keep balancing it. You got to keep looking after it. I think I am the fittest I've ever been in my life. And similarly, connected, I have never been happier in my life.
So both of them are interrelated. Your physical fitness and your mental health, and your mental fitness and your physical health, both of them somewhere keep going hand in hand with each other, and both have to be given enough of
absolutely, absolutely. And one of the best exercises in the world is walking.
That is true. It also lets you think. It's so liberating.
Mentally as well.
It's
when you walk, you feel a purpose, and your thoughts become positive because you're going forward. I've always felt that. I did this workshop for a movie called Biba Boys with this beautiful lady from Chandigarh who's an acting teacher. Earlier on, I was like, at that time, I was one of those people, Achare kaise khayegi, I know, ye, wo. And she used to just make us walk around. And after 2 days, it dawned upon me. I said, how much is that helping me? And walk. And if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to gain cardiovascular ability, which you might have lost due to your sedentary lifestyle, just walk. There is a formula. 220 minus age into 65% is the heart rate you should be walking on to get rid of stored fat. It's a slow burn, mostly just a less than brisk walk can get you there, and just do that for 30-40 minutes. You will have good cardiovascular, you would have burned some fat, you would have got some positive thoughts, and
Very
if
well
you've got a horse, you don't have to do that. Then you can
Oh
just
yes,
ride the horse.
oh yes, very well said. Because in one of that's true, and in our survey, the one of the findings says that more than 50% of young India is associating with depression, with mental health, followed by stress, and followed by disturbed peace of mind. And what you just gave out was a sure shot formula to keep everything in check. Now moving on.
I have become the genie of the Aladdin lamp.
So now, Randeep, talking a little about you, what is this obsession that people have with, social conformity, with putting up these pictures on Instagram?
I have another point to say about your previous discussion, which is very important, and that is why I feel the young people are going through this.
Tell me.
It is the phones.
Oh my God, yes.
Phones are isolating everybody. It happens to me too. I am trying to get off that goddamn phone to detox myself from it. You are reading news and items about people, of people, and it is mostly pretense, or it is bad news. Something's happening somewhere so far away, and you are feeling anxiety because of it. Because you're constantly engaging with it, reading comments, doing this, doing that. So I think one of the biggest reasons for the young people to go into these states, and as the percentage, as you said, is increasing, it is because of the isolation these smartphones are causing, and the anxiety you feel with a conflict which is virtual, which is not real. I mean, if a person, let's say, of a certain community is killed somewhere else, and you start feeling that your neighbors are going to come kill you because they're of that community, it's stupid.
Absolutely.
So you have to cut yourself away from this smartphone technology.
So amazing and fabulous having you with us today, speaking to the youth, and such great tips, Randeep, because you are a youth icon and many would be listening to you today, and perhaps it would make a difference to most of their lives. And thank you so much for those wonderful tips. I'm also going to keep my phone away. हाँ जी,
हरियाणवी बोलते हैं, ज्यादा लाठी लेने की जरूरत नहीं है, टेक इट इजी, ज्यादा सीरियसली अपना अपने आप को लो, ना प्रॉब्लम्स को लो. वक्त बदलता रहता है, टाइम बदलता रहता है, सर्कमस्टेंसेस बदलते रहते हैं. मेरे को लगा था मेरा करियर खत्म हो गया है, अब मैं हॉलीवुड की पिक्चरों में जा रहा हूं. तो हमेशा वक्त बदलता रहता है. आप सिर्फ अपने आप से सच्चे रहिए और वो चीज कीजिए जिसमें आपको खुशी मिले.
और क्या पता कल हो ना हो, तो आज ही सब कुछ है. Randeep, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, appreciate it.
Bye. Cheers.